Captain Tazaryach of the ISUPK. Kadawan Khan ISUPK lies on Paul. Oh, see, today I'm not putting that. I'm not saying you guys are gonna be the judges. But what I heard, it's either two things. It's a lie, or he doesn't understand the Bible, or a third option, he misspoke.
Yeah, I think
like the sorry. Go ahead.
Which one do I think? Do I think he's just outright lying? I don't. I think the brother's honest. I don't think he's a liar. Do I think he misunderstands? Certainly think he misunderstands, and I think his misunderstanding is what led him to this conclusion. But let me say this to you guys, because I saw somebody come on my comment board recently, and we're going to get right into the video. So I just want to give this quick disclaimer. This is not like a beef or war or any of that stuff. This is a response. And I know the thumbnail might make the brother upset, but I think it's hilarious. And this is a response. I think we have to let people know that. This isn't us, because people look at it like we're just trying to go against everybody and just try to start commotion and all type of stuff. And there's already enough division in the community. Why are you guys fitting into it? But it gets to a point where it's like, are we not allowed to respond to people that say certain things about us? I get that everything doesn't warrant a response, but there are certainly things that warrant a response. So we did a video not too long ago about 1 Corinthians 8 and 1 Corinthians 10. And instead of a critiqued
Yeah, I told her, I said, I want all camp leaders to do I would like to have a conversation, a live conversation or a formal debate. I said, all right, if you guys want to respond, do a response video. And so that's what I said. Well, go ahead. And you're about to say, instead of a what?
Instead of a, peer-reviewed article or a, hey, brothers, okay, cool, I see you guys put this out. And again, I want to make this stated for the record too. If I'm wrong on it, I want to be wrong on this. I'm actually hoping and wishing someone goes and says, hey, brother, here's how you're wrong. I will publicly apologize. But instead of doing that, now we're fake ass Israelites and all this type of stuff. And you learned this from and it's, you know what I mean? It's just
let's just say what they said. They said we learned that Paul went off from somebody who purchased a pegging kit, a dildo.
Ridiculous.
That's what they said. First of all, I can't even say that I found this and looked in the Bible myself and seen this. Hassad looked at the Bible himself and seen this. So when they can't deal with the information or do a peer review, they go to insults. Now we're homosexuals and we learn from whatever and fake Israelites. And so again, we're not even mad at that, and we're not going to insult them back. We're not going to insult them back. We're just dealing strictly with biblical information. That's it.
Yeah, and this is the last thing. We're going to get right into the information, everybody. And we have to be people. One of the reasons why people look down on us, when I say people, I'm talking about people outside of the Hebrew Israelite community, is because of the conduct and how we treat each other. So we're not going to resort to name calling like they did. Now, was it funny sometimes? Yeah, of course. But let's just keep this scholastic. So that's what we'll do. All praise to the Most High.
So I want to say this too. Right now, he's doing a response video to our presentation about Paul eating meat sacrificed to idols, teaching that it's okay. Right? He's doing a response video right now. But guess what, y'all?
Everyone, look, come on, man.
It's under a pay. It's you have to pay to watch it. So he's doing a response to our presentation instead of having a conversation. And it's behind a paywall. I don't know, man. If y'all want to listen, go pay for it. But here's what we do have. We have a presentation that he did a couple of months ago with one of my Genesis varsity students, and which preempted him to do a whole presentation that we want to discuss today, where we got to make the decision to say, Did he lie or is he just misunderstood? Now Hassad is saying he's just misunderstood. He doesn't have a proper understanding on this, and that's fine. Does that mean he's a 2/3? No. Does that mean he's going to hell? No. Speak real quick 1 second.
Yeah, and you guys can let me know what you guys think. You know, I'm definitely interested in hearing what y'all got to say, but it's ironic because I feel like had those brothers put out something and instead of us giving you our response free of charge or even accepting a conversation with somebody, they would also use that as a talking point. Look at these fake ass niggas. Look at these fake Israelites. I'll try to
charging for breakdowns.
You're right. But then when we put out something, you talk ish about us in response, unwarranted. We never said anything about you in the video. And then to respond to it, you have to pay for it. Like, come on, brother. Now, if you want to get your money, I understand that, but it's just like, bro, it's kind of the timing is very ironic.
So he's using the wave that we created to get bread, but calling us cloud chasers. Come on, bro. I never mentioned you till you mentioned me. I always respond. We don't tripping. We just setting trends and creating waves through the spirit of God. So when we put a topic out there, it's good, but we like this. All camps, the topics that we put out, all camps should talk about it in a respectful way. Not say, oh, you fake Israelites and this, and that. Deal with the information, debunk it, go over it, vet it. And more importantly, of course, let's have a peaceful conversation about it. That's why I got to say, shout out to BOW, Believers of the Way, Brother Ratazan, who is never scared to get his ass whooped. So you wasn't ready for that, huh, side? No, Salakia, no, that's my brother. I love him. I'm just joking. You could send a joke back. But our brother is always willing to have a conversation. I love that brother, man. Fearless, for sure. But without further ado, y'all, we want to take a look at his breakdown on Paul T. This is the free one. So there's the one you got to pay for that he just did today. And then this is the free one from a couple months ago. So unless this doctrine changed from today and 2 months ago, this is the same. Because listen, if One West doctrine, because they say One West doctrine hasn't changed since 1969, then his doctrine shouldn't change from 2 months ago till today. If it did, we got a problem. And that's not One West. Okay, so let's start this, y'all. Let's start this. Let's take a listen. Like Hassad said, you know, we don't want to influence you guys to influence your perspective of, you know, what the brother's bringing forth. But just take a look at the information and let's go into it, y'all. So this is where he starts. This is 2 hour. The whole 2 hours, he's not talking about food offered to idols. He's talking about other things. But around the hour and 24-minute mark, he gets to talking about idols, the food offered to idols. So let's take a look. I kind of want to skip to the main part. I want to skip to the part where it did get absolutely butchered. I do want to skip to that part. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, yep. And then I'll rewind.
I didn't eat Sonic, Taco Bell. I can't eat none of that. But when y'all go to your restaurants, if you go to your Outbacks, if you go to your Longhorns and Chick-fil-A's and Wendy's, when y'all go in there, this is what this verse means. This is how I'm going to sum up this verse for y'all with everything. When y'all go to the restaurants, do you ask them if they cook the food with bacon, shrimp, crab, lobster, oyster, XYZ? If you say that you don't ask them,
I want you guys to hear this. We're not. He's equating what Paul is saying to
food,
unclean contamination, cross contamination with unclean foods. No, bro. Cross contamination with unclean foods is not the same as idolatry. Go ahead, Asad.
Yeah, that's a completely separate context. So for you to add that, you're not drawing that from the text. There's no way. There is literally nowhere in 1 Corinthians 10 that you could draw eating unclean foods or foods that have been cross-contaminated with unclean foods from, because the context literally starts off with, in 1 Corinthians 8, now concerning foods sacrificed to idols. That is
not
literally
not unclean cross-contamination. No, go ahead. You done?
That's eisegesis, literally. That's by definition.
Eisegetic hermeneutic.
Then you're doing the same thing that Paul said. That's how easy this is. That, like, I ain't got to do no more than that. And here's why. Because when you read, I'm gonna keep reading. It says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake.
Assad, have you heard this? Did you hear this last night?
No, I didn't hear this.
Oh, no, watch this.
How bad is it?
It's bad. It's bad.
But if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not, for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So now he's telling you, if you find out that this is offered to idol, don't eat it for his sake and for your sake.
That's a big blunder. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't. Yeah, if you read the very next verse, that's not what it says.
Wow. Let's see if he reads the next verse. I think it gets bad. I got it. Let's see. He says it.
For a verse, is it the next verse? Yeah.
Yep.
It's literally the very next verse.
Right, but let's just keep going. He's going to double down. He just, like I said, either this is a lie on Paul by design, or he doesn't know, he's not reading it right or reading it too fast, maybe, or just doesn't understand.
Now you're not eating it for both.
You guys hear that? He said, Paul is saying, don't eat it for your conscience sake and the weaker brother's conscience sake. That's not true. He's going to double down, though. Watch.
So why is this important? You know why? You know how many times I get asked, hey, Cap, if my family is just having a regular cookout, can I go to the cookout? I get asked that all the time. If my family is having this, can I go to this? And I say, yeah. You know why they're asking? Because they want to make sure that they're not going to a birthday party or anything else that would be idol worship. That's 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. And let's say if you go to that party and you find out at that party that it's a birthday party, you're not going to rock with it no more.
Paul is not talking about holidays and birthday parties. He's talking about going into a temple, eating meat sacrificed to idols.
Well, there's actually some good we can take from this. Honestly, I'm just trying to be objective here. I'm at least happy that he says not to eat food sacrificed to idols. So he's right in that regard. You shouldn't. But he's not right in his exegesis of 1 Corinthians 10. So I will give kudos to that. But that's just not, unfortunately, what Paul is saying. What you're saying, Captain Tazaryach. That's not what he's saying.
Right.
Now, remember, everybody, he exegeted verse 28 to say, if someone tells you this is food sacrificed to idols, don't eat it for his conscience sake and your conscience sake. That's what he's saying. Paul says. That's not.
Let's just read it. You know what? Let's just read it, and then we'll keep going because he's going to double down. What does it say? Verse 28. But if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat it not for his sake that showed it.
Right.
So eat it not for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake. Yeah. He's going to tell you, don't eat it for the guy and his conscience. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Verse 29. I'm hoping he keeps reading and exegetes the next verse. Conscience, I say, not thine own. Don't he say body bag? Is that body bag?
That's what it says. It said not for your own conscience.
Cross the line. No.
Conscience, I say, not thine own, but of the other. So it's not for your own conscience, but for the other person's conscience. Why? For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? So meaning it's not wrong. Paul is saying it's not wrong for you. There's nothing wrong with it. It's because of the other guy and his conscience, because of his liberty. He's saying that you have the liberty to eat food sacrificed to idols, but just don't do it in front of somebody whose conscience is weak because it could offend them.
Damn.
That's not correct. The answer should be, like, it's funny. Tazaryach actually has the right answer, just the wrong exegesis. The right answer is don't eat food sacrificed to idols for that person's conscience because it's wrong. And for yours because it's sin.
Mm.
That's the correct answer.
Mm.
But unfortunately, that's not what Paul is saying right here. And again, if someone can please, like I'm asking, I'm not even saying that to be like funny. Please show us what we're wrong so I cannot teach that. So I cannot have to have someone that's an atheist or something ask me about that in the Bible, and then I have to give this answer. I don't want to have to give that answer. I want to be able to say, no, Paul was right here. But unfortunately, I can't. So unless someone shows me that we're wrong here,
well, maybe we'll pay for his video. He does have a video that just came out today on this topic. Hopefully he's responding to, hopefully he goes by line of what I presented. He probably won't, but still, at the end of the day, you know, maybe his breakdown has changed from 2 months ago, and the video we have to pay for it today can teach us the way. Show me the way. Now watch him double down.
Okay. Now you have conscience of it. So you're not doing it for their sake and yours. We live this every day. We live 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, every day. When you go to your supermarket, you go get your chopped meat. If you go get your lunch meat, if you're not asking, was ham made on this same slab?
He's doing it again, Hassad. This is literally superimposing into the text.
Yeah,
he's painting the narrative of unclean cross-contamination.
Ironically, yeah, not only is he doing that, but I do. Myself, I can speak for, I definitely do that. So
I don't eat meat, so don't ask me that question. You won't have a trap question or trick question with me.
But again, more importantly, this is not talking about eating cross-contaminated or food that's been cross-contaminated with unlawful foods. It's talking about eating food sacrificed to idols. A better question would have been if you don't go to the supermarket and ask the butcher or ask whatchamacallit, what's some Tyson Ranch, if they where you get the chicken tenders and stuff from, if they sacrifice their food to an idol, then
or is it halal?
Right. But you can actually go into that and find out if if it's halal or if it's not. So if it's halal, literally by law has to have halal certified on it. But anyway, we can keep going.
Let's keep going.
As the turkey you getting, you're doing the same thing Paul said. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, ask no questions for conscience sake. Here's the crazy part. Paul is only talking about if it's sacrificed to idols. You going into stores that they make meat mixed with pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, and
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
You ain't asking. Because if you ask and you find out, you're not going to be able to eat it. Now, if you can understand how you live your life today, you can understand what Paul is saying to them. Because we can read where Paul says in the verse 28.
All right, here we go again, y'all. Watch this. He doubles down. So I don't believe he's lying. He's just misunderstood because he doubles down. Unless you get it wrong twice within 2 minutes, it's crazy.
If you find out that it's sacrificed to idols, you don't eat it for your sake and their sake. This is very, very easy to understand.
Wow. So again, y'all, we're right here. Paul does not say for your conscience sake and for their sake. Let's do some comparative translations. Watch this. Look at the NLT. But suppose someone tells you this meat is offered to an idol. Don't eat it out of consideration for the conscience of the one who told you.
Yep.
The NIV. Do not eat it, both for the sake of the one who told you and for the sake of conscience, his conscience. Look at the very next verse. And I'm surprised he didn't read it. The fact that he didn't read it might show me that there might be some shady stuff going on. Look at what it says in the NIV. I am referring to the other person's conscience, not yours. ESV. I do not mean your conscience, but his. For why should my liberty? You have the liberty to do it, not him. Let's go to the KJV. That's what Israelites worship. Conscious, I say, not thine own, but of the other. It's bad, gang.
Real quick, can I share my screen? I just wanted to show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. And this is why we have to respond to this, because we put out a video, and now the easiest way to spot a fake camp is they say Paul taught something wrong. That's it. That's the post. And no, I don't want to debate you shock value attention-seeking niggas either. So now we're seeking attention because we put out this information. We didn't say anything about you, and then you respond to it and call us fake Israelites. Not only you call us fake Israelites, then he says our brother over here, our brother priest, is a thirsty N-word.
Damn.
This ain't about views or subs. Only you function like that. I never have. You also are not someone I call a peer. Now he's not even his peer. I was about to say something. It's okay. Well, you know what? I will say it because it has to be said, and you guys in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong for saying it. Okay, priest is not your peer. Am I your peer? Because we saw what happened when I called cross the line, and Deke is the head of my camp. So, hey, he might be way worse. You know what I mean? Now, hey, I'm not saying that as like a diss or a challenge, but it's like, what am I supposed to say? I have to keep it a buck, you guys.
Are we supposed to let these guys just think that they're the big bad bullies of the Israelite community?
Yeah, but it's like not even like, oh, you little like big y'all, little or a little y'all, big us, or big us, little y'all. But it's like, why do we even have to operate in this type of capacity? Why isn't it? Hey, why couldn't you just leave it alone? We put out a video, we expressed what we said, and then you could just either respond to it respectfully or not say anything at all. Why is it like? Why is
our
it
first video? The first video about the food to idols, we never mentioned anybody's name at all. We never mentioned no camp at all. So who really wants the attention? Yeah, you made a post based off of a presentation that we made. We didn't do something based off of a post or presentation that. So who really wants whose attention here? Yeah. And all I'm saying is don't say something about somebody and then say, oh, and for the record, I don't want to debate you, but I want to talk about you, but I don't want to debate you.
Yeah. And I do. Someone said he had respect for you. I mean, that's cool. I have respect for Tazaryach as well, but I don't respect this. I do not respect this at all. And then to put out when you do actually respond to us is behind a paywall. How am I supposed to respect that? Because someone explain logically how I'm supposed to respect that. Hey, I respect you, but not your brother. That's like some like almost a cause for a division or attempt to. I rock with you, but not this nigga. Nah, bro. If you ain't rocking with everybody from Genesis, I'm not rocking. Nah. But I mean, there's some truth to that. Let's keep going.
G's in the chat. Now, hopefully, y'all, he reads verse 29. Now, I'm gonna show you another blunder that is absolutely astronomically, diabolically insane. You guys thought it couldn't get worse? Oh. Put on the fighter jet seatbelt, not a regular seatbelt. Put on your a fighter jet seatbelt, the one with two straps, two straps here, two straps here. Let's see if he reads verse 29. Here, the nuclear bomb coming up.
The only way it's not easy to understand is if the Spirit of the Lord is not with you. Man. That's the only thing that I can tell you. And I'm telling you this out of love. I'm trying to free your mind. I love saying that. I got that from General Hyman. What I'm trying to do is free your mind. Free your mind from thinking that the only way you can understand the Bible is understanding the text. When the only way you're going to ever understand the Bible is if the Most High gives you the understanding.
Man, this is so. I'm scared, Hassad. I know I talk. Listen, let me just say this.
There's no way. Why doesn't everybody else know this? You know why? You know what I mean? Like,
no. I'm so scared. I know I talk a lot of stuff, right? I know I joke. Everybody say my first impression is that of an asshole, but you know I done so many deeds. All praise to the Most High. I love helping my people, my brothers, my sisters, my family. But we have to be humble. In this same video that he's like, I got this knowledge from God and the Most High, he literally is breaking it down wrong and eisegeting the text, and one could argue that he's lying on the text, and then saying, you know,
we don't have the Spirit.
I got this from the Spirit of God and the Most High. Whew, I'm scared. I am scared. Everybody just stay humble. So let's see if he breaks down verse 29. Then I got to go to the part where it was way worse.
That's it. If understanding the Bible was reading the Bible, then the white man would understand the Bible. The Jewish man would understand the Bible. The Arab man would understand the Bible, because they had that Bible in their hands while we was enslaved, while we was getting our identity taken away from us, while we was getting our backs beat. They had the Bible in their hands. And yet, they did not understand that Bible. And then in the 1900s, the late 1800s, 1900s, the Lord started pouring his Spirit upon us again. And we began revealing the truth of the Bible. We began getting the understanding of the Bible. And if we want to keep that understanding,
is he going to read verse 29?
The Lord has to.
That's what
it comes. But that rocking with me, man, is away. With that, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man.
So he doesn't, Hassad, he doesn't even correct himself. Now, listen, I wouldn't have even been doing this video if he just read the next verse. That's what makes me think, why didn't he? And Hassad, why didn't he read that it's sacrificed to demons? Because he started 1 Corinthians 8. We're like, yeah, idol's nothing, bro. We have the knowledge that the idol's nothing. Then he conveniently skips verse 20 to 21, where Paul says, "Oh, I know they're idols, but they're sacrificing the demons." He completely skipped that. Anybody can go watch this. But here is an equal blunder. Hassad, what if I told you? I don't think I told you last night. But what if I told you that the most damaging, I call this the worst verse in the Bible. What if I told you that he completely skips this, Hassad? He literally reads verse 9 and then goes right to verse 11. You think I'm lying? Watch. Okay, where we at? Let's go back here. Let's go to what minute mark is this? Okay, let's go. You can't make this up, guys. You cannot make this up. Anybody could go fact check this. This from 2 months ago. Did Paul teach against Jesus to disciples in the law? Now let's go to where is it at? Okay. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to command F. Let me command F real quick. 1 second, y'all.
And this is why, a brother texted me. Shout out to my brother Sharak. He texted me and he was like, he's asking me questions about certain videos and other camps. And he asked me, so you tell me, so he asked me about a particular camp and incorrect doctrine that they had. And he's like, damn, I'm only going to listen to y'all because all these other camps got it wrong. I said, no, bro, you should listen to all the camps if you want to. Now, you should find the one, I guess, that you vibe with the most, certainly. But we don't ever want to turn this into an echo chamber. We never want to turn this into a cult. That's how cults start, where you just take everything that someone tells you for face value on the fact that it's their face telling you that the information. Critique everything that we say. Everything that we say. This is why we put out the PDFs of all that we say, all the information. And I was talking to Shar too. I think it would be good too, Priest, if we start adding like a bibliography at the end. Like, here's the link to this source where we found this, where we found that, where we found that. So that way everybody can know how we came to this conclusion, cross-examine with your own information, our conclusions, and then y'all know it's true for yourselves. Or you can correct us on it. And then we say, thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. We were incorrect on that.
Easy. Now watch this, y'all. Watch this.
as we read along. So let me bring this over here. So now we can see it. It's a little bigger. That's why I'm doing it this way. So now the verse I want to read where they get wrong, it says,
you reading it wrong.
so now this is the verse that Israelites read. 1 Corinthians 8 and 10.
Now he's gonna read this, the worst verse in the Bible, and he's gonna say, I'm gonna come back later and break this down. But in his mind, he understands this is bad, bro. So when he goes back to exegete the whole chapter, he skips this verse. But watch.
It says, for if any man see thee which hath knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not his conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered unto idols? What I've had Israelites tell me is that what Paul is saying is don't be seen in the temple, but you can eat food sacrificed to idols, because they believe that's what Paul is saying. And that is so idiotic of them to believe that that's what Paul is saying. So now what we'll do is properly give understanding right in the chapter that it's talking about. So now 1 Corinthians 8.
Okay, so you guys heard him. He said this is the verse Israelites say is the worst part of the Bible, and he's going to give proper understanding. So let's go to where he's exegeting line by line. Line by line. Okay, watch this.
Eat the meat. The liberty is that the idol is fake. The liberty is that Santa Claus is not real. Thanksgiving is not real. 4th of July is not real. That's the liberty you have. The liberty you have is like July 4th is just the 4th of July.
Now, again, since we're live, anybody who believes we're in error, we definitely want to put a link in the chat. Make yourself known. You can come on here. We can talk about Paul teaching to eat meat sacrificed to idols. The panel will be open. It's open if you make yourself known. But let's keep going.
It's clear. The liberty is the liberty to eat food sacrificed to idols.
Damn.
Like, we just have to be honest with the text, you guys. We can't just make it what you want it to say. It says what it says. Come on, bro.
July 4th to me is like the July 4th for Chinese people in China.
It's you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna let it play, but he's equating something that was happening 2,000 years ago in actual temples and rituals to American holidays.
Right.
It's not the same, sir. UPK.
Just another day of the week. The last Thursday for me, the last Thursday in November for me is like the last Thursday of November in South Korea. It means nothing to me. December 25th for me is December 25th for somebody in an African village. It means nothing to them. It's just another day. But to the week, December 25th is the roughest day ever. You know, there's a sister.
So he's breaking down verse 9, everybody. This is an absolute fact. You guys can go fact check me. I'm not lying. He's literally going to skip all of 10. Literally, watch.
Hold on 1 second. That used to contact me every year for 3 years. She wouldn't come into the truth with a funky behind, but she would contact me every year. Every year she would contact me around Thanksgiving because she struggled with being separate from her family for Thanksgiving. And so me, I would have to strengthen her, give her scriptures, go over these same scriptures, X, Y, Z. So now, in verse 11, when it says, for through thy knowledge, remember the beginning says, knowledge puffeth up, but charity edified. So what is he not?
Wait a minute, everybody. He promised us, Assad, that he was going to break down 1 Corinthians 8 and 10 directly and correctly and give the sense. But he didn't. He skipped the entire verse. Listen, if he don't need prayer, I need prayer. Pray for me, y'all, that the Most High keeps me, and pray for humility and sanity. Because what a blunder is that? You skipped the most important verse in both chapters that Paul is saying, given a hypothetical of you being in the temple, partaking in the ritual and eating the meat, and he's not condemning that. He's only condemning if someone sees you. We wanted that from you, Tazaryach. You remember that white boy from GMS? He used to say, Captain Tazaryach. We needed that, Cap. Again, anybody can go watch this. He does not exegete, explain, touch on chapter 10. He doesn't give an antithetical exegete. He just doesn't.
And if you're not, then if you know that you can't do that, if that's in fact the reason why, now maybe there's a world where you just totally forgot. Maybe you accidentally skimmed over it. You know, maybe
drinking while teaching.
Maybe that's the case. But if you know in fact that there's a verse in 1 Corinthians or in any chapter that you're unwilling, that you do not have an answer to, that you have to purposely skip to proceed with your explanation of the rest of the text, you shouldn't talk crazy about brothers who do have answers. You shouldn't call us fake Israelites. You shouldn't call niggas dogs and thirsty. None of that. What you should do, well, first, what you should do is get in class, brother.
Oh yeah, let me make sure that. Let me put that on the screen. That's the first thing.
I'm just talking ish in response, you guys. This isn't like an ego pissing contest.
Genesis Varsity Online Academy specializing in Hebrew apologetics.
All right, we're gonna get you right, brother. But no, in all seriousness, just don't say anything, man. Because if you didn't say anything here, you shouldn't say anything publicly. Because now we're gonna highlight the brother didn't even address the verse. I wonder why.
Yeah, this is bad. It's not good, people. That's why if we come out with a presentation, just know we're ready to fight anybody about it. Right now, like Jake Paul says, any place, anytime, any place, anytime, anywhere. Okay. Will you do a debate about Isaiah 53? It depends on who it is. At this point, somebody says, "How Cap
right? That's a great point.
Damn.
How does Cap got a problem with y'all Paul breakdown when he said John the Baptist wasn't even the truth? Christ said, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Christ said John the Baptist is the greatest nigga ever, basically. And then says that guy wasn't in the truth. He said John the Baptist wasn't in the truth. The witness, the guy that prepared the way for Jesus, Yahushua, that guy wasn't in the truth. Elijah in the reincarnation, who's one of the two witnesses, that guy was in the truth. What? But then you're saying, hey, we're not even saying anything closely that crazy. We're not saying Paul's not in the truth. We're not saying Paul's not a man of God. We're not saying Paul should be destroyed. They made a video that said, General Hyman said, if I say John the Baptist is fried fish, get me my hot sauce. That's what he said. Now, we're not saying anything in relation to that when it comes to Paul. We're just saying, hey, Paul was incorrect here. So we're not in the truth for saying, hey, Paul was incorrect here, but you're at the home of the truth. And you said John the Baptist, Jesus Christ's cousin, wasn't. Okay.
Another thing, I like this comment. I told y'all about wanting that spotlight. Listen, all I want to do is kick ass and take names with this Bible. If anybody knows me, I talk into the camera because I got used to it. But being in the live audience and bright lights, and I'm in my room, I'm comfortable. I'm a shy individual. I don't care to be on these major platforms and bright lights on. Listen, I'm shy. I'm a shy individual. I mean, I could do it, but I'll be nervous and sweating the whole time. But yeah, I don't want that. So, but I'm not saying other brothers can't do that. That's just not me. But if you want it, if you want that too much, you will be brought low. If you want that too much, you will be brought low. Let's see. It says the two witnesses are Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. We didn't even say nothing about the two witnesses.
I did just now.
Oh, you did?
I just talked about Elijah.
Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. The two witnesses are not the Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. What's the topics for this month in varsity? I'm thinking about signing up. We're going through the Ezekiel, the 40th chapters. Ezekiel's vision of the third temple prophecy is called third temple knowledge. It seems like the Zadokites are reigning and ruling in the priesthood. The prince, Yahushai, has children. It seems to be different land allotments. The measurements of the temple seem to be different. It's some deep stuff. There's still some sin going on. It says there's some reconciliation that needs to happen. There's some cold questions in these Ezekiel 40s. What else? We see Dan there. There was something important. There was something importante. But yeah, those Ezekiel the 40th chapters are deep. Yeah, how is Yahushai making sacrifices if he's not of the Zadokite priesthood? There's some crazy stuff up in them Ezekiel the 40th chapters. That's what we're going through in the Genesis Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics. Let's see. This was all corrected in Acts, so I don't get why people torn up about his letters needing insurance, that we must keep the law. Dropping gems. I'm not understanding what you're saying, because he was told in Acts 15 not to do it, then he went and did it.
I think saying why is Tazaryach so bent out of shape about it. I don't think he's saying us.
I know, but still, I just wanted him to. Okay. So yeah, let's go to another one though. Now, one of my Genesis varsity students, speaking on the Genesis, shout out Big Yasharala. He actually had Captain Tazaryach on his hold on one second.
Dropping James said, from my understanding, Corinthians was before Acts. Every Bible timeline I've seen said First Corinthians was before after the Council of Acts 15. So if there's one that you could show that's before, that would actually be good evidence. Send it to me if you can. But all praises to the Most High. And again, just to reiterate for anybody that's joining, this is a response. This is a response to some things that Captain Tazaryach of the ISBK said about Genesis, about our organization and our breakdowns concerning 1 Corinthians 8 and 10 about food sacrificed to idols. So this isn't us trying to get attention. And notice, I just have to say this too. This is like the third or fourth time that we've had to make a response to something that him or another brother in his organization has said. I think everybody in the viewing audience can see that clear as day. That we're not throwing a rock and hiding our hand. We're responding. So just wanted to give that disclaimer yet again.
Okay, so the brother said that he in his understanding. See,
yeah,
that's
he said he's going to send me a timeline that I guess 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, so let me just show it real quick. That may be why you got it wrong, because you're understanding. No, I'm joking. All right, y'all. When you deal with the Bible Hub timeline, it is fairly accurate once you get to 1000 BC and progress to 70 AD. That's fairly accurate. All right. So we have Acts 15 is going to be 48 to 49 AD. 1 Corinthians is going to be 54 AD. So a half a decade after he was told not to do it, he went and did it. All right. So now let me pull up this other video. We're not going to be here all day. I'm going to pull up this other video about a debate that our brother Tazaryach had on food sacrifice to idols. And I must say, whoever this Israelite was, he must have got a free scholarship at the Genesis Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics, because he was whipping some behind. 1 second, speak real quick, Asad.
You know, so if there's anybody in the chat that would like to have, I guess, challenge us on this. When I say challenge, again, I don't mean a pissing contest or an ego battle. I mean us having a conversation about this. Can you or priest break down Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 to 7 in the King James when it says, "Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Then it goes on to talk about of his government, there shall be no end. That's referring to the Davidic Messiah. Now, the reason why, there's two reasons why Trinitarians go here, or other people that believe Christ is some form of the Most High, whether that they're oneness or Trinitarian. Two reasons. One, it calls him the everlasting Father. So is Christ the Father? Well, Trinitarians don't even believe in that. Oneness is what believes that. Well, okay, perfect. So he said, why is he called the Father? So when you read Isaiah 22, it says Eliakim was like a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Eliakim was a ruler of our people. And just like the head of your household, who's your dad, it gives instruction and provides and cares and gives wisdom for his children. Eliakim also, just like the Messiah, would be in that same type of position as the leader, as our head. That's why you see, for example, it's either in, I think, in 1 Kings, when Solomon becomes king, they bring him. There's this one particular example where they give two women come to Solomon, and they say, "Hey, this is my son," and the other one says, "No, this is my son." And so Solomon says, "You know what? Just chop the baby in half. You can each have one half of the baby." And then the one woman who says, "No, just take the baby." He says, "Okay, well, that's got to be the mother, because the true mother would just want her baby to be at least be alive." So the same way that people would come to the king for wisdom and knowledge and instruction, just like you would come to your father for wisdom, knowledge, and instruction, Christ is in a similar, he's in a similar role. That's Isaiah 22. You can read it for yourself, brother. I don't know what verse exactly. It's like 22 and maybe like 20, something like that. It says, Eliakim will be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Well, why does it say Christ is going to be the everlasting father? Well, it tells you that his kingdom is going to be everlasting, that his rulership will be everlasting. So he will be in that father-like position of a king and a guide to his people forever. That's why he's called the everlasting Father. So anybody that has a question on food sacrificed to idols and anything related to that, hit the link. Also, too, the reason why it's called the Mighty God, that's not the Hebrew word for God Almighty. The Hebrew word for God Almighty is El Shaddai. That's not the word that appears there. The word that appears in Isaiah 22 is El Gaborim, which means a mighty warrior. And he is a God, but he's not the Most High God. So him being called the Mighty God does not denote him being the Most High.
All right, so let's listen to a little bit of this. Just a couple more blunders on this whole meat to idols presentation and debate. Look at y'all. I know I know a lot of y'all got a problem with Cap. All right. I know he could come off as not a nice guy sometimes, but he hasn't said anything close to y'all as he said to me, and I'm okay. Let's still show him the love of Christ. This is just commentating on doctrine. Let's keep it about doctrine.
Yeah, Cap's all right. I still got a bottle of scotch for you, brother. I'm in North Carolina. I got a nice bottle of scotch, and it's all love. But for now, you wrong, so we're gonna have to show everyone how you're wrong. That's all.
We gotta spend. Hey, listen, every father loves his child. And he's got to do BTA. All right. So now let's play some of this.
But okay, so when he said, real quick, when he says, "But meat commendeth us not to God, for neither if we eat are we better, neither if we eat not are we the worse," is like, what are we to do with that one? Because
let me tell. Okay, no,
if we eat food sacrificed unto idols, isn't that a sin?
Now I want everybody to hear this though. He asks Captain Tazaryach, according to 1 Corinthians 8:8, Paul says, if you eat the meat, you're not better. If you don't eat the meat, you're not worse. He says, but if you eat the meat, isn't that a sin? So how is Paul saying if you eat it, you're not the better? If you eat it, you're not the worse? Watch this response. I'm hoping that we can get an answer. You guys tell me if this was an answer.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
when we read in Corinthians 8 through 10, which I think is kind of covering the idol worship, you got to understand the audience. The audience ain't just everybody that have knowledge. It's those that have knowledge and strong in that knowledge. It's those that have no knowledge. It's those that have knowledge but they weaken in knowledge. So how do you talk to all of them at the same time?
right.
So First Corinthians the 8th chapter, when he says, "Howbeit, not in every man is that knowledge." So you might have a strong brother that looks at that turkey, and for him that's turkey 365 days of the year, including Thanksgiving. It's just turkey. And then you got a brother that has knowledge but he weak. So on that day of Thanksgiving, that is not turkey. That's Thanksgiving turkey. So how do you address idols to both of those men? One that know it's just a piece of meat, and one that is struggling with it just being a piece of meat because he used to saying it's Thanksgiving turkey. So that's why he's saying meat maketh us meat don't make us better. And idol is charity edifies over the knowledge. So more important than your knowledge of this just being a piece of turkey is that if you eat that turkey, that's going to offend your brother. So that chapter is really saying don't eat meat at all. Don't eat the meat at all. And warning you that if you decide to go eat meat, so if you decide the cat that's strong and decide to go to his mama.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was asked a yes or no question. Is eating meat food sacrificed to idols a sin? That's the question I was asked to him, right?
He said, let's rewind it again. The question was, how is Paul saying if you eat the meat, it doesn't make you better with God? Or if you don't eat the meat, it doesn't make you worse with God, but eating meat offered unto idols is a sin? That should have been answered. What is this guy talking about? AI overview. You guys gotta look, even still, whatever, but Paul taught it regardless, whether it was before Acts or after Acts. But you guys have to chill with Chat GPT because you'll bring a source and Chat GPT will say something and would not have a source, or at least a few sources. You can't operate on one source, but multiple sources to back that. So please be careful with AI overview and Chat GPT. That is not scholarship. It's there to assist you. That's it. But how y'all feel? Y'all feel like that was an adequate answer? Somebody said soldiers of Yahweh. I don't know who those guys are scared of y'all in Clubhouse. They always talk about y'all when y'all aren't on there. You should open up a Clubhouse for the smoke. We always open up a Clubhouse.
I would hope that he's not talking about the soldiers of Yahweh that's here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
We got
I'm playing.
We got Priest Rom. We got Priest Rom in here. Okay. We want to talk about, let's put a link in the chat for Priest Rom. We could talk about our will we say he's our ex-fellow comrade? Well, he's our fellow comrade. You know why? Because he's still in the truth. He's still in the truth. So he's our fellow comrade.
That's my brother right there. Shout out to Rom.
Rom already know what's up. We want to talk about 1 Corinthians chapter 10. A sit down with who?
He's saying us and Tazaryach. I don't think Tazaryach would sit down with us. Well, you know what? Let me retract that. I think Tazaryach would potentially would sit down with me. I don't see him sitting down with you, Priest. I ain't gonna lie.
What did I do? What did I do?
I don't think he's sitting down with you. The only way
is it because I'm 6'7"?
Oh my god! I think the only way he would have a discussion with you is if he tried to make you apologize.
I did apologize on Clubhouse.
Oh well.
So what's the reason now?
I can't speak for Captain Tazaryach. So
either way, I'm not calling him out for a debate. I'm responding, and in my response, I'm saying let's debate or just talk about it. So either way, life goes on without Tazaryach. Yeah. So let's keep going on this.
House and eat that turkey because to him it's just turkey and it ain't nothing else but turkey. The brother that's weak that sees him, you're gonna wound him. So he's really trying to address the strong man that has the knowledge that it's not turkey and the weak man that's struggling with it being Thanksgiving turkey. And how do I make them both understand each other's point?
Right.
That's what it's talking about.
Chicken,
Yeah.
turkey, chicken, you name it.
And Big Yasharala just sat there and let him give that chicken shit answer and didn't hold his feet to the fire. Big Yasharala, you was supposed to hold him to that fire, boy. That's our question, everybody. When you do these response videos, properly line by line exegete it like I did in the documentary. And if you haven't watched the documentary, go watch the documentary. You'll die watching it, but you'll live. You'll live to fight another day. Yeah, we want to know, why is he saying the meat in context is meat offered to idols? We know it's a sin. But Paul is saying if you eat it, it doesn't make you better. But if you don't eat it, it doesn't make you worse. That's just not true because it is a sin. What is his big deal with priests? That's what I want to know. Now, I did say some funny stuff. I think one of his main issues he had with me is I put the video out of ISUPK working out and getting face, and I said, "Oh, they're getting ready for IUIC."
Oh man, I forgot you did that. Yeah, that'll make him upset.
But listen, if you're upset, come smash me in a debate. Come just destroy me in a debate if you're that angry about it. I thought it was funny.
I don't know if I should say it. I can see. All I'm saying is this: I can see Gentleman Hyman doing a live reaction to this video and saying, this guy wants to get smashed. You hear him. You see what
Mahiaman. Hey, I love General Mahiaman. I love General Mahiaman. That is one of the funniest elders on the planet, and he does have a lot of wisdom. He has a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, a lot of great counsel. Shout out to General Mahiaman. But when it comes to like the jokes and shit, I'm way worse. Look at the guy in the building. Big G. Hold on, man. G's in the chat. G's in the chat. G's in the chat. Oh, yeah, my bad. What am I doing? They're little G's.
Oh,
let's put these little G's in the chat for our brothers at Gaborum. So let me erase that comment with the big G's real quick. No, I'm joking. Shout out to my brothers at Gaborum, man. All the G's clicking up. All right, so let's play a little more of this. Priest, what are you beating heathens? What?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, all of that's well and good if Paul actually meant what y'all are supposing he meant. But verse 9 just breaks it all the way down. And he tells us, but take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Now, whoever this Israelite is speaking, he's giving Captain a run for his money. Whoever you are, brother, tap in. Tap in, bro. You need to be over here with the G. Put a G on your chest.
That's what he means by it. He's saying, yes, we have the liberty to do these things, but take heed, unless this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to someone who is weak. And in his mind, a person is weak because they believe that food sacrificed to idols is anything. Like the scripture have always taught us since Exodus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, it tells us that eating food sacrificed to idols is not good. Even Revelations reiterates that. Revelations reiterates it and tells us that the doctrine of Balaam is what? Them that taught the children of Israel to eat food sacrificed to idols.
Yeah.
So what Paul is saying in Corinthians chapter, hold on, I'm not finished. What he's saying in Corinthians chapter 8 and chapter 10, I was just one more sentence.
I didn't want you to stop talking. I wanted to ask you.
I mean, I have to stop talking for you to ask a question, don't I?
Hold on, Isaiah. Hold on. Don't wait. Hold on. Wait. We can't do it that way though. We gotta let him finish what he's saying, Captain. Then it's on you. But don't mute him, okay?
And I'll make it real quick. What Revelation describes as the doctrine of Balaam, I believe is direct reference to this epistle and other epistles of Paul that were floating around that people were using to justify eating food sacrificed to idols. That's why Revelations is known as an anti-Pauline epistle, and they were reluctant to add it to the scripture because of that fact. They could not harmonize it with Paul's letters.
They can't harmonize no scriptures. But what was the liberty?
Real quick, Hassad, you said that 1 Corinthians was written before Acts 15?
No, if I did, that was a misspoke. I misspoke. I meant to. What I said was it was written afterwards.
Yeah, juice, dupe. Give me one source.
I don't think he's being hostile. I think he's just stating maybe I said something incorrect. So that's what I said.
But he said, which is true. Where the hell is that source at?
Oh.
I already got two right here, the Bible Hub timeline, and then I have a more accurate one on the Bible timeline on this site that says the Jerusalem Council was 49 AD, and then 1 Corinthians is 56 AD. Can we stop? Or do you want to hear dial tone? Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. My bad. Let me share my screen again. Boom. You see it here. Acts 15, 49 AD, 48 AD. Some say 48 AD. Then you have 1 Corinthians at 54 AD. Then you have this other source saying the Jerusalem Council is 49 AD. Then you have 1 Corinthians 56 AD. All sources that are valid, not ChatGPT, not an AI overview, valid sources say that 1 Corinthians is after. There we go. You see this one? This one's more intricate. This is that real deal high tech. You understand? Don't play with me. I'm telling you, I have mastered this topic in particular. Okay, so let's play some more of this.
Of yours that you read in 1 Corinthians 8:9. What's the liberty?
To eat food sacrificed to idols. That's the whole chapter is about eating food sacrificed to idols. That's the context.
And this is what it means. This is what it means.
Wait, Rick.
Okay.
That's not the liberty. The liberty is not. Paul is not. If the liberty was to eat meat sacrificed to idols, he wouldn't say, "I will eat no meat while it stands, so I don't sin against my brother."
He just cut himself. He just absolutely cut himself. Jesus Christ. All right. I think we can be
brother.
done.
It's to offend your brother. That's the point. Meaning he has the liberty. There's nothing wrong with him eating food sacrificed to idol. That's what Paul is saying. He has the right to do that. The liberty. That's what it means. Unless it offends somebody else, then he won't do it. I will eat no flesh in his sight. But I will if he's not looking.
He just cut himself. I think we could probably end it here. We'll open it up for cut. You know what though? Let's open it up for some questions, comments, and smoke. That I don't think. And there's more on that too. Like 20 minutes more. He actually uploaded this. How do you upload your own unaliving? It's crazy. Just like he kept cutting himself against the side. All right. So let's just, again, we're talking doctrine. We're not saying he's a 2/3. He's going to hell. putting curses on them, none of that. We're just talking doctrine. But anyway, let's open it up for questions, comments, and smoke. What y'all got? We don't want to make this a long live show. Oh, look at tomorrow. This girl, I'm going in on her and her husband. I have to. It's my duty. I'm the only defender of the galaxy. Okay. So y'all are familiar with this? Let me share my screen. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow to this live show. Israelite sister speaks. My husband is my concubine. Patriarchy, not in this house. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. This brother and sister is going viral on TikTok. Hey, congratulations. But when you come at the camps and when you don't know the Bible, now my eyes are on you. And that's not good. It's just not good when I'm on you. So Big Yasha Raleigh don't have a YouTube page. That was on TikTok, and then Captain Tazaryach uploaded it on his YouTube page. Kashial says, can y'all give clarity on 1 Corinthians 8, verse 10 and verse 12? Did you not watch the documentary? And if you did watch the if you watched the documentary, I thoroughly exegeted this. Now, if you did watch it and you want more clarification, it's my duty to do that. But I'm like, did you feel like I didn't do diligently exegete in the documentary? Hassad, why? Look at the I'm saying why, and look at this comment. Why? Just why? Why black people? Okay, so let's see. Me calling cross the line is crazy. So it could look like I'm begging that nigga. No, let's mutually agree like men. That would be like me saying, hey, Captain Tazaryach, come on my show. I got more views and more subscribers than you. No, because he's not going to come on my show. We need to mutually agree to a conversation. If not, whatever. I'll just be doing responses, which is equally bad. Let's see. He says, because 8 cuts them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they understand. Now, BOW said that he's going to, Ratazan said he's going to do a response, not a response, but he's just going to do a breakdown on it. And he believes that Paul is teaching that you can't eat meat offered to idols. You can't. Because y'all got to remember, me and Ratazan talked about this a half a decade ago. And it was a friendly discussion. I wasn't stepping on the gas, and neither was he. But he did reach out to me, and he's, you know, it was a private conversation, so I'm not even gonna he'll probably speak on it in the video this Friday. So make sure y'all tap in with Ratazan and Believers of the Way on Friday. He's going into this topic. Now, only thing I disagree with Ratazan now is, because I can say this because the video was public. He did say 5 years ago, Ratazan, that it was not a sin to eat meat offered to idols. He did say that. And he doesn't take that stance anymore. He said that there was issues at Corinth that they were eating meat sacrificed to idols, and that Paul was correcting them. And now that's fine. I think that's definitely better than saying eating meat to idols is not a sin. But Paul is correcting it. Yes, that's true too. But he's correcting it because it'll offend your brother, not because it's a sin. That's my stance. And that's what I can see, not what I believe or think. A plain reading of the text is saying that. Okay, it says if he debates you, that's money out of his pocket. So that ain't happening. Possibly. Any questions, come and smoke. Like I said, tomorrow we're talking about this couple who had some harsh things to say about the camps. And so I definitely am going to have to address that. These TikTok couple, that'll be live tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tap in with that. Somebody says, is Ramses II the pharaoh that the sea killed? If so, then is the timeline in Acts 13, 19 to 21 false? Let me see something real quick. I don't think so. I think that's close, but I don't think it's Ramses II. I think that the pharaoh comes after that. So it's still around the same time, but it's after that. Sentaki. The pharaoh Sentaki would more than likely add up more so when you look at the chronology. So you're asking if it's Acts 13, 19 to 21 false. It doesn't have to be false. There are some inaccuracies with chronology, with biblical chronology for sure. 19 to 21, and he overthrew 7 nations in Canaan, giving their land to his people as their inheritance. All this took about 450 years. After this, God gave them judges and Samuel and prophet. Oh, okay. So you're saying that this is saying it took 450 years from Egypt, from when we went into Egypt to going into the land. Oh. Get it. I'd have to look at that. It's been a while since I dealt with these Kemetic arguments. If Hebrew Israelites were to disregard Paul's epistles, would it change their belief system much? No.
Some things would change, but the core, no, absolutely not.
Cherry picking who you debate is not nice at all. Well, I wouldn't say that, because I'm going to cherry pick who I debate if it comes to somebody who is not of any notoriety. I'm talking about with a formal debate. But anybody can click the link. Anybody walking down the street right now can click the link. Anybody who's watching this on the subway can click the link. Anybody who's at Subway eating at Subway can click the link, and we can have a conversation. But when it comes to flyers, moderator, platform, structured formal debates, we're not just going to debate anybody. Would food that has any kosher label on it consider food offered to an idol? No, they don't sacrifice their food to idols. All right. So that being said, y'all, we just wanted to come tap in. If y'all are just now coming in, we proved that he, during his exegesis of 1 Corinthians 8, he skipped the whole verse, what we believe to be the worst verse in the Bible. Then in 1 Corinthians 10, he said that Paul is saying it's for your conscience and the brother's conscience. That was either a lie or he doesn't understand the text. Because the very next verse, Paul says, not for your conscience, but for his. So we just want to touch on these things. I ended up watching a little bit of his breakdown last night. I said, we got to talk about this today. And Tazaryach, you better take it down. Better take this video down. Or you better edit that out. You better edit that out, my boy. All right. So with that being said, everybody, we wanted to end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father. Oh, we got Big Harv. Big Harv, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on, Deke? What's up, Assad?
What's up, bro?
Hey, yeah. So, man, I was just listening to you talk about, the differences and, people saying that Paul taught to eat false, meat sacrifice to false idols. I think that's an interpretation issue, but, I think it might be a bigger issue on a principle level. And this is why. On the principle level, Paul, we know, was a man of God. He was a man of the Lord. So, if we're going to take a position, our position has to be, we have to look at it from a lens of trying to understand what he's saying. So, when you review a video on a Talmudic scholar or an Egyptologist, and you sit and you watch a 15-minute clip, somebody new to the truth don't know who you are, but you in the algorithm, so they run into your channel. And so they watching this, and they like, well, I don't agree with this. And so they turn it. Because in their mind, they're seeing you eating meat sacrificed to false idols, and all you're doing is learning. And I say on principle level because Paul was a learned man. He went across region to region, city to city, learning and teaching. And so I'm led to believe that he sat and learned with those people of them false idols. And so when I look at it, when they say that, I think it's a reference to him observing and learning and sitting and listening with them.
But notice, brother, respectfully, you're not drawing your aforementioned statement from the text. You're just trying to defend Paul the best that you can. Whereas we're going into what he actually wrote in 1 Corinthians 8 and 10, and we're basing our conclusion based off of that. So when Paul says, if someone sets before you food that you know has been sacrificed to idols, don't eat it for his conscience sake, not for your conscience, because you have a liberty.
You see that conscious part? We can't forget that word.
But brother, he says not for your conscience, because you have liberty to eat food sacrificed to idols. Do you agree that we have liberty to eat food sacrificed to idols?
I believe that with your conscience, you can sit and you can read. I mean, that's a loaded question, brother. Respectfully.
Not a loaded question.
But I get it. It is, because you asked me, do I believe you can eat sacrifice to false idols? And I explained on principle what I believe even before you responded. So that's kind of facetious.
Can you worship another god?
Absolutely not, brother.
Can you sacrifice to another god?
Absolutely not.
Those aren't loaded questions. Okay. So can you eat food that's been sacrificed to another god, which you're not allowed to do?
In the literal sense, food, no, you're not supposed to.
So what is this?
But
if it's not literal food, what type of food is it? Metaphysical food?
It's spiritual. Remember, I forget where it is in Isaiah, say none shall want her mate. Was that talking about every woman wanting her husband? No, it's a parable. It's coded. It's spiritual. It's codified. And so Paul's speaking in the spirit, just like he did when he spoke with the Edomite judge. He knew he couldn't be saved, but he spoke with salted speech.
So no to every no, no, big no. No.
I mean, tell me where I'm wrong.
No problem. I got you. So here's how we know contextually that it's not some spiritual thing. Okay. He says, if any of you sit down at dinner and it is set and food is set before you, this is not a metaphysical, supernatural event he's talking about. He's saying quite literally, if you're at dinner eating food and someone tells you that this food is sacrificed to an idol, where do you get this spiritual analogy?
No problem. All tables are filth. What's that? Is a vomit? Where's that in Isaiah? Where's the all tables? It wasn't talking about eating literal food, was it? I can't think of the scripture, brother, but it said all tables are, a filthy vomit or something like that. Roughly paraphrased. I can't think of it, but I'm in traffic.
Okay, watch this. When Paul said, when you go to the marketplace and you see food, don't ask if it's been sacrificed to idols. What is it? What is the metaphysical breakdown on that?
The medical physical breakdown is the fact that it said when you go into the market. So market, we identified the word conscious at first in the first reference. This conscious, we're talking. I mean, this at this point, it literally identifies market. So that's the context.
You got it. You got it, Deacon. You got it, please. Go ahead.
No, we appreciate you, brother. We're just here to hear alternate understanding.
Praise. And look, I want to say something about Captain Tazaryach too, and that malicious John the Baptist doctrine, right?
Talk about it, brother.
So once again, Hassad beautifully broke down how there was, and I believe it may, you did too, Deacon, how John the Baptist, there was none great amongst men. And he literally, I gotta take my hat off. He literally prepared the way for Yahushua, and you're gonna say this man isn't in the truth? That's the most foolish, arrogant statement I've ever heard in my I mean, in all creation. When he was already, it was written that he was greatest, and you're gonna say he wasn't in the truth. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make about that is ISUPK, Israeli school, they still carry the stench of those old men that didn't even believe in that thing. So of course they're not going to get it all the way right. But you can't put new wine in an old wineskin, so they got to throw that thing away. Hey, I
No, that's true.
appreciate the time, brothers. I
That's
appreciate
true.
y'all
That's
work, y'all
true.
labor, and the love that you show the community, man. Come y'all sha'ala, man. Big
All
G's.
praises. Shalom, brother. Big G's, not the little ones. All praises. All praises. Tony, you got cut so hard yesterday, your kids started crying.
I didn't get cut, but I got a question on what you just said. You just said if it doesn't have kosher on it, it's not sacrificed to idols. But how do you know that?
What?
How do you
How do
know the
we
food?
know?
How do you know the food you get is not sacrificed to idols?
You didn't say food that you get. You said kosher.
Yeah, you're saying if the food is
They'll
packaged
tell you
not
that
kosher.
they'll tell you that it's not sacrificed to idols.
Yeah, kosher
So
is
you
not
so you go to the
sacrificed
grocery
to idols,
store
bro.
asking like, yo, is this sacrificed to idols?
Kosher is not. If something is certified kosher, it has not been sacrificed to idols. That would render it unkosher. Kosher is just a rabbi goes through and makes sure that the way that it's killed, all the stuff around it, is in alignment with Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. That's what kosher is. They
No,
don't.
I understand that. I'm talking about if it's not kosher. If you go to the regular supermarket and you
Yeah,
buy the food, how do you know it's not sacrificed to idols?
you don't.
Exactly. So that's what Paul's speaking about.
That's not. That's when he says whatever's in the marketplace, ask not. That you can maybe make in a case for. Here's the issue. He then goes on to say, and let me say this for the record too. There are still ways that you can go about finding out something sacrificed to an idol or not. You can call Tyson Ranch or stuff like that. I do stuff like that. It's funny, but whatever. Here's the point. Let's say in the example, you go to some random rinky-dink some random restaurant, and do you know? Well, you know that you don't know. That's the point. Number one. Number two, he says if something is brought before you at dinner and someone does tell you this food is sacrificed to idols, don't eat it. Why? Is it because it's sinful? Why? Is it because it's against God? He says no, because of that person's sake, for that person's conscience, not your own, because you have liberty. Do you agree that you have liberty to eat food sacrificed to idols if you know it's an idol? If you know it's been sacrificed to an idol?
No. If
But that's
someone comes up to me and says,
all does.
I just sacrificed this to so and so, whatever God,
No.
I'm not going to eat it.
So you disagree with Paul.
But that's not what Paul's saying.
Stop. So why
He's
did he
saying for
say?
your own conscience sake too.
No, he did
No,
not.
he didn't.
Well, show me in 1 Corinthians 10 when he said for your own conscience as well.
Let's just pull it up, man. Let's pull it up. You got it?
Yep. 1 Corinthians chapter 10.
28 and 29.
Verse 28.
We have mastered this topic.
But if any say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that showed, for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Conscious, I say, not thy own, but of the other. What does Paul mean when he says, conscious, I say, not thy own, but of the other?
Yeah. Oh, let me read it. I'm over here cooking chicken.
No, you're over here getting cooked. Oh man! Everybody take care of yourself.
But you'll be saying Paul is double.
No, we're not saying anything. We're asking
because Paul there's many verses where Paul says don't eat.
No, not gonna happen. We're asking you to explain. Conscious, I say, not thy own, but of the other. What does that mean?
That's showing that what your actions that you do, just don't think about yourself but others.
No, conscious, I say, not thine own. Thine own what?
It's talking about thy own, not just thy own conscience, but others too.
He just added that. Yo, he just added that. It doesn't say not just thy own. It literally says not your own. You're adding to the Bible.
Okay, I'm not adding to the Bible because it's clearly saying if someone says to you it's offered to an idol, you can't eat it.
Why?
But if you don't know, you can eat it.
That's not what you just lied. You just added to the
Verse
Bible.
28 it tells you that. He's saying
this.
if the man tells you, if the man comes out and tells you,
okay, watch this.
Now you can't eat it.
Right. And he says,
not
why
for
not?
thy own conscience.
No, he doesn't.
But for the others.
No, exactly. You're not even knowing how to read. You're reading it wrong. So he says, conscious, I say, because he's expounding on verse 28 when he said, for conscience sake. He's saying, not for your conscience, but of the other. But why does he say but right there, Anthony or Ant?
It's because he's speaking about for the other.
Right. He's not talking about your conscience. He's talking about the other person's conscience. Conscience, I say, not of your own, but of the other. Because then what does he say about your conscience? For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? He's saying it's not wrong for you to eat it for you, but it would be for that person's conscience. Meaning, if you're in a situation where you know it is food sacrificed to idols, but there's no one around you, you would be able to eat it. That's what he's saying. Anything other than that is you twisting the text and force-fitting your own understanding onto it, as opposed to drawing from it like I am. For now, we appreciate you and have a good night.
But hold on. Let me respond to that. Because if he says that, the only time that will come into place is if you're told your food is eaten to an idol.
Wrong.
Yes, he is, because he says also for the people who told you.
That's so, brother. Did you not read verse 27? If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, he's talking about you at dinner with other people, not by yourself. The
exactly.
Point of what he's saying here is
exactly. So how can you eat food? How can you eat food offered to sacrifices by yourself if you don't sacrifice your own food? So the only time you would eat food sacrificed to idols is if you don't know.
No, brother. Let me help.
He's not saying you can go to the temple.
You're wrong.
Listen,
you're wrong, and
he's not saying you can go to the temple by yourself and get food sacrificed to idols.
Oh
he's
my
not saying
God,
it.
bro! He literally says that.
Where does he say that? Where does he say you can go into the temple of idols
brother,
and eat their sacrificed food?
You clearly, objectively have zero idea what you're talking about. I say that humbly, not as someone who thinks that they know everything, but in this regard, you know nothing. So you should you should watch this video again, and then all your questions will probably get answered, because right now you're making a fool of yourself. He literally says in 1 Corinthians chapter, I believe it's 8 or 10, if a person who has a weak conscience sees you going into the idol's temple, that's what's going to offend him. But what if someone doesn't see you? That's the point. If someone doesn't see you, that means that you have liberty to go into an idol's temple and eat the food that they sacrifice to that idol. Again, that is direct. I'm quoting what it says. You're not. You're just appealing to emotion. For the dummy who said it's lame to try to get Captain's attention, how are we trying to get his attention and he's responding to us? What you should do is save some for Captain's wife. That's what you should do. I'm saying
that. And with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Until tomorrow, Lord willing, make sure you guys go like, share in the video, the live stream for tomorrow. We'll see y'all then. Kwame Asharala.
Shalom.